All right, shalom, shalom. We're going to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to those that are doing this work in truth and in sincerity. This your brother Nathan Yala coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson, and I pray and hope this lesson is edifying. Now, you know, the house of Esau is completely divided, okay, on all fronts. The house of Esau is divided from within and from without. And I have a series of videos that we're going to watch, and how you can see the infighting of President Donald Trump and the courts in regard to the executive orders that, one in particular that he's rushing, that he's pushing through to stop certain fundings. And the courts are saying no, and she's going to break it down. But the courts are saying no. This is unconstitutional. You can't cut the funding like that. We have to do some investigation to make sure that what you're doing is actually legal. So, so you have the courts that are fighting against the Trump administration for certain executive orders that he's trying to push through. Okay. So, and then on top of that, and there was a video, Bernie Sanders, but I don't have that one. I forgot to get it, but it's okay. But this one, Bernie Sanders is a high-level Democrat, and he did a video saying how they had to fight against the Trump administration for what they're trying to do, but this is nothing more than the final go round with Esau Edom, right before the final prophecy, which is the mark of the beast. Okay, so Esau's house is divided. Okay, you got Esau fighting against Canada. Okay, and you got Esau fighting against the Mexican Edomites down in Mexico, because a lot of them aren't Mexican. They're Edomites. They just speak Spanish. Okay, and then you have Canadians, which are also Edomites, and then you have the American Edomites divided against the European Edomites, and then you have the Russian Edomites divided against the American Edomites. So what you're seeing is, Ezekiel, I believe 36 to 38 coming to pass, right? I shall set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, all right? But what we're seeing here is the dismantling of Edom's house right before your very eyes, all right? So I'm going to start off with a quick precept, and then we're going to play some of these videos. This is Matthew 12 and 25. And it says, Yahweh knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Okay, so that right there is the question. How can Satan's kingdom stand if he's divided against himself? Well, the answer is that he can't. Okay, so let's go here. We're going to start off with this one right here. Like it.
Federal judge said that for the first time since President Trump took office, a federal judge said that Trump and his administration are directly disobeying a federal court order, and Trump and his team must comply, like now. But did
You see, now what this is right here is the courts is saying, hey, y'all got to comply with the order of the court. And Trump is saying, nah, we got more power than you. We do whatever the hell we want. You see what I'm saying? So this is a division of the separations of powers. You got the judicial against the executive branch. You see what I'm saying? So the president like, nah, I'm the executive. I got the more power, and the judicial is the one that interprets the laws. Okay, I saying, nah, we need time to make sure that what you're doing is actually legal. Okay, so she gonna break it down.
the vice president suggest that that's not going to happen? This is a much bigger deal than you think it is. I'm going to explain why in a second. But first, this new order was issued today by the chief judge for the federal district court in Rhode Island in the case involving President Trump's executive order that pauses trillions of dollars in federal funding for grants and loan programs here in the United States. Technically, that order was rescinded one day after Trump issued it. But the state's attorneys general of 22 states in the District of Columbia filed a lawsuit saying President Trump does not have the power to freeze funding that had been appropriated by Congress in a law. Well, Judge McConnell issued a temporary restraining order against the Trump administration in late January, saying the Trump administration needed to keep the funding flowing while this case plays out. But since then, the states in D.C. went back to Judge McConnell, saying the Trump administration is not complying with his order. And in fact, the Trump administration responded and told Judge McConnell in a filing last night that they were not complying with his temporary restraining order in its entirety because they're trying to root out fraud. And they didn't believe the judge's order covered everything they were trying to do. Well, today, Judge McConnell made it very clear. His order is for everything. Judge McConnell said, the broad, categorical, and sweeping freeze of the federal funds is, as the court found, likely unconstitutional and has caused and continues to cause irreparable harm to a vast portion of this country. These pauses in funding violate the plain text of the TRO, temporary restraining order. The judge went on to further clarify in today's order that the Trump administration must immediately restore the frozen funding until the court makes a final decision in this case, must immediately end any federal funding pause, and must comply with the plain text of the judge's temporary restraining order. But this opens up a much bigger conversation about the separations of powers. And let's not mince words here. Over the last few weeks, we've all witnessed the Trump administration trying to push the boundaries of Trump's power. But here's what you need to understand. That is not uncommon. Lots of presidents, when they come into office, push the boundaries of their power to further their goals and to try and follow through on their campaign promises.
Yeah, but see, the difference is that America is already in a position of vulnerability because the currency is falling and all of the other nations is turning against this hoe. You see? So now in when that's why the scriptures, as a matter of fact, you know, um all right, we gonna come back to that. Let's go to Jeremiah 49:7. And it says, it's like, I'm at 49:7. It's 49:7. And it says, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is the counsel from the prudent? Is the counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? You see, because Esau's making really silly, stupid moves right now that he never made before that's causing this great division between the Edomites within and the Edomites without. Okay? And now you're seeing evidence right here, the actual federal government itself, the three branches of government, they're all against each other. Okay? You got the executive branch against the judicial, and the judicial branch against the executive, and then you have the executive branch against the legislative branch. Okay? So you have all three branches of government at odds with one another. And from what she's saying in her report, that this thing may go up to the Supreme Court. And, I can honestly say that I think Trump is going to be like, hey, man, I'm going to do what I want anyway. I'm in this thing right now. We're taking this thing to another place. All right. And that's what I think was happening. This dude done got in office and he about to do what he do. Okay. But in doing so, he's going to complete the task of turning all of the nations against Babylon. And that's exactly what's happening. Okay? So I'm going to let her say a little bit more, and then we're going to move on to the next video.
Promises. This is not new. There was a lot of controversy over President Obama's immigration policy that Republicans were furious about, saying Obama was picking and choosing what laws he followed. In the end, the Supreme Court sided with President Obama and said that his immigration policy was legal. President Biden did the same thing with student loans when he first came into office. The Supreme Court ultimately shot down his widespread forgiveness plan, saying it was unconstitutional. So he tried another way, as he was legally allowed to do. But those additional attempts were also stopped by the courts, and he complied with those federal judges' orders. And in the end, Biden could not fulfill his campaign promise of widespread student loan forgiveness. So what's unusual now is the Vice President of the United States is suggesting, in writing, that the judicial branch cannot control the executive's legitimate power. In essence, J.D. Vance is saying the executive branch is more powerful than the judicial branch, and perhaps the executive branch may not comply with the orders from the judicial branch.
Okay, so you see, so that's a big divide right there. That's a big divide between the two branches of government right there. You have the executive branch that's telling the judicial branch, which they're all supposed to have equal parts of power on the same block. Okay, Congress control the purse. United States, the executive controls the military, and the judicial, they enforce the codes and the ordinances and the interpretation of the law. Okay, and they're at odds with one another. You see, and at the same time, so we're gonna move on to the next video. You got the Canadians. Okay, we're gonna play this video.
Oh, President Trump has put uncertainty. Has put uncertainty to every single Canadian, a lot of other countries around the world, and this isn't going to happen overnight. May not happen February 1st. I'm sure something's coming, but this is going to be a battle for the next 4 years, and I want to make sure that I have a strong mandate to outlast President Trump. And again, I can't stress this enough, how CEOs in our country are concerned, which we've been meeting with, but it's really a Team Canada approach.
You see? So you got the Canadians that are now against the Americans, and the American president are against the Canadians. And if you want to furthermore back this up, this is Trudeau on a hot mic. And this is
last-minute economic summit today to discuss the threat of U.S. tariffs. He addressed hundreds of business, labor, and policy experts this morning in Toronto, vowing to bring free trade across Canada. But it was his comments behind closed doors that are garnering the most attention. And Taria Isri, who joins us from the Ottawa Bureau. Taria, we appreciate this. So let's begin with the comments. The Prime Minister caught on a hot mic. What did he say?
So Prime Minister Justin Trudeau started the morning addressing a packed room, and it was a very go Canada go, speech to sort of get the crowd motivated to figure out new ways to tackle so many economic challenges that have really come into sharp focus since Trump's tariff threat. But then he had said, okay, media, it's time to leave the room so that some of the people in attendance can ask questions privately. But his mic was not cut off. The audio was still rolling. And he said that after his conversation with Trump, so you might remember he had 2 phone calls with him this week, that he believes that Donald Trump's threats to Canadian sovereignty are real, that they are serious. And he had pointed to the fact that Trump is well aware of how Canada is a very rich country in terms of natural resources. And so let me just read back to you some of what Trudeau had said to the room. He said, I suggest that not only does the Trump administration know how many critical minerals we have, but that may be even why they keep talking about absorbing us and making us the 51st state. Mr. Trump has it in mind that one of the easiest ways of doing that is absorbing our country, and it is a real thing. So those remarks are a lot more candid than what we've heard from the Prime Minister. When Trump first made the comments about Canada becoming the 51st state, they were largely dismissed as a joke. But as he continued to make those comments, ministers, the Prime Minister, started taking it more seriously. And you see just how seriously now that comment is being taken.
Yeah, no question. Joe?
So you see, now you got Canada, okay, that's now against America and their neighbors. You see? So this thing is getting hot, okay? Let's grab another scripture. Let's go to Isaiah 19. This is Isaiah 19:2, and it says, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. All right? So the Lord is causing all of these things to come to pass. You're going to have city against city and kingdom against kingdom. You're going to have war in America within and without at the same time. Okay? This war is going to be within and without at the same time. You're going to have people fighting each other in the streets and being invaded and fighting a war with countries all at the same time. Okay, this shit is not going to be pretty for America. As soon as they make that chip mandatory, it's gonna break loose. Okay, and they've already got everything that they need, and play. Well, they're finishing up right now. That's why Elon is doing what he doing. Tearing down the Department of Education and various other things. Because they're about to implement something else that they have total control over. Okay, so now, you have those people who don't want the Department of Education and all of this funding to stop. They're bucking against their government. They're saying no. Okay, so here's another one. We'll listen to him.
off. They feel insulted. Now Canadians are pissed off. They feel insulted. We were good neighbors. We worked together to build a good economy, and Donald Trump has insulted us. People feel offended at this idea of the 51st state. So Canadians on their own are already taking action. They're saying, we're going to buy Canadian, we're going to boycott American. And I want to acknowledge all the Canadians making that decision. Thank you for doing that. It's the right thing to do.
You see that? So they're taking a stand, and then we have this lady right here. I'm not gonna play the whole video. I'm just gonna play the part where she where she talks about how they're talking about they may have to go to war with America.
No. America doesn't know the same thing that Canada is hearing. I was just on a call with some very, very well-educated people. I mean, people who work in DC, lawyers, writers, like very well-educated people. And as of this morning, Saturday, February 8th, I was saying to them, yeah, Canada is preparing for war. And they were like, what are you talking about? They don't know. Like our prime minister yesterday, Justin Trudeau yesterday, said, was caught on a hot mic, but let's be honest, we all needed to know, and he caught saying it, that what I said earlier, like last week, what I said, that Trump is going to annex us, invade, he wants our critical minerals. It's a serious threat. It is not a joke. Jimmy Fallon is out there making jokes about, maybe 179 countries will watch the Super Bowl because we'll take over Canada by Sunday. Not funny, Jimmy. Not funny. And so I was on this call and I said, yeah, we're preparing for a war. And they were like, with who? With us, with the U.S. And I told them how serious it was, how Canadians everywhere have spent the last week boycotting the U.S. and looking up ways to make sure that they've sort of decentered the U.S. from their conversations and their lives. This is a very serious, we're not going back. And Americans are not hearing it. They don't know. In British Columbia, which I'm sure most people don't know this, British Columbia is larger than every state except for Alaska, where I think we're almost twice the size of Texas. And our premier in BC has said that any government contracts going forward, if they have them with the US, they are going to, when the contracts come up, they're looking for other countries to do them with.
You see? So everybody's turning against America. It's over with for America. Esau's house is completely divided on every single side. And, call all Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shine, that we can actually see the unraveling of Esau Edom right before our eyes. We can see it. Okay? And it's happening very quickly. Very quickly. As quickly as he's trying to put his system together, that's how quickly it's falling apart. All right? And ultimately, in the end, it's going to end up with all of those missiles being shot to Babylon the Great. Okay, that's about to happen very, very soon. Okay, you can see the tension in the air, and all of these prophecies are coming to pass. So we can go to Obadiah. This is Obadiah 1:1. It says, "The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord, power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise and let us rise up against her in battle." Okay. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen; thou art greatly despised." So we see that America, all of the other nations are rising up against America. Okay. And the Lord has made, the stature of Esau small. Not only in number is his numbers are dwindling, but also, the admiration of the Edomite is also being taken away. Other nations have seen these people for who they are. And these alliances that was made with Edomites, those are going to all fall. Okay, they're only going to last for a short period of time, and these nations are going to fight against one another. Okay, nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. All right, it says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived, verse 3, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? It says, um, yeah, this is what I wanted to scroll down to, so like here, verse 7, because this is what's happening right now. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and have prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, all of those countries that you have provided military aid for, that you provided funding for, okay, all of those countries are going to turn against America. So we're seeing that between Mexico, between Canada now, okay, China, all right, you have Russia, and all of the other, uh, a lot of the European nations like Europe and Britain, okay, because you know the Nord Stream pipeline thing. These people are angry about that shit, man. Like they got to pay more for stuff because of what America did. Okay, so these things, right? Uh, these countries turning against America. This is actually a real time thing that we're seeing right before our eyes, and this shit is serious. Okay, and at the same time that all this is happening, we're seeing the food supply dry up. Okay, we're seeing prices skyrocket, and it's becoming more expensive to live. All right, we're seeing all that on a day-to-day basis. We're seeing it more and more. Now they have this huge egg recall, so the prices of eggs is about to skyrocket, and they have been. I remember just 2 years ago, freaking eggs are 77 cents for a carton. Now you're paying $9, $10 for a carton of eggs. What do you think is about to happen, man? That's gonna be second Ezra the 15th chapter all day. Okay, the sedition among men and invading one another, not regarding their kings nor princes. Okay, a man shall have no pity among his neighbor, and shall destroy his brother's house with the sword because of the lack of bread. And for great tribulation. It's about to go down, man. Okay, so it's gonna be a war from within and from without. All right. All of the other nations that have been on Esau's side is about to they turn. It's not even about to. They are turning against Esau. All right. So I'm gonna read that again. It says, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." Okay? So none of the stuff that you're doing is working anymore, and you don't even know why. Well, that's because Yahweh Shemiah Shai has put an end to your left hand side and your left hand enchantments, man. Okay? Your secrecy, the thing that you were using for secrecy, okay? The Lord has revealed. Okay? Let's see if I had anything else I need to play. I got another precept just came to mind. see. Let me see. I think it's Micah. Yeah. Jeremiah 49:10. Close out on this. It says, but I have made Esau bare. This is Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he should not be able to hide himself. So, all of his secrecy and his enchantments and his media and his blame game, none of that shit is working anymore. Okay? Not only is the lies being revealed to the other nations, but it's also being revealed amongst his own people, and they're turning against him. Okay? It says his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. All of these Edomites are through. Okay? This is why they're genetically disposed to do wickedness. Okay? Because it says his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. All right? Edomites are through. This is it. Their system is going bye bye. It's fading away. We're seeing the end of Esau Edom. It's unraveling right before us. You know, when the southern and the northern kingdom split, it wasn't too long after that Judah was taken into captivity as well, and the whole entire kingdom fell. Well, that's the same as I just brought out. You know, if Satan be divided against Satan, then how can he stand? And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Okay, so you know, I prayed that this was edifying lesson, and I'm gonna end it off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakadash. Next time I'm gonna say Shalom.